My life and political thoughts as a tarot reader who thinks YouTube wants to know what the hell I'm thinking. Hello everyone, and welcome to Aunty's Tarot. So, the new snail aquarium, we'll talk about it later. We're going to watch my fancy light do its thing. As we have a chat today, we'll do some cards as well. I got some right here for us. So, I was watching the Majority Report, and they were talking about Megyn Kelly, who's this like right-wing podcaster who used to be on Fox News, and so she's talking about this Jezebel article that came out prior to Charlie Kirk meeting the karma he asked for in order to uphold the Second Amendment. So we'll check out that clip. We'll and we will talk about it.
You're playing with fire, messing with this stuff. There actually are demons in this world.
Oh.
Calling up the spirit world, in particular the devil's spirit world, can actually have real world consequences. It's not something to mess with. Many Christians believe this.
Whether we're witches on the left or indigenous folks on the left or any of the black and brown people in touch with their spiritualities and cultures that often are woven in together will know that there's a portion of the white left that, a large portion of the white left that doesn't believe in any spirituality. They're atheists. I think it's a joke. And I think it largely comes from Western culture being a Christian culture, and they look at this culture with this morally devoid Christianity and are like, there's no spirit here. And what they do see of it is nasty and right wing, right? And so I get where it comes from. But I also love that, you know, the right is terrified. Because this is the ones we do want them to be terrified, right? We do hex the patriarchy, hex white supremacy. Like, we do that. But not with the devil. I mean, maybe some, but the devil is a Christian thing, and I think the majority of us don't believe in it. I know there's some that's their jam, but for a lot of us, yeah, the Christian devil is not real. I'm not working with them. But there's a whole lot of the spiritual world that is not down with white supremacy, and that whole spiritual world is ready to help those of us who call on them to help against the scourge of white supremacy.
Second, this is what I really want you all and the people at Jezebel and Etsy to know.
Okay.
Erica and Charlie Kirk heard about these curses.
Right.
And that news genuinely rattled Erica in particular. She knew Christian teaching on the subject. She loved Charlie, absolutely. And she was scared when she heard of the curses Jezebel had called up. She and Charlie contacted a friend who I believe she said was a Catholic priest, but definitely a friend, and asked him to come over and pray with them over Charlie the night before he was murdered.
Okay, so we do need to address Christians who are afraid of of witches on Etsy and being able to pay for witchcraft. But first, can we... So, they call a priest, although I guess Megan seems a little uncertain on that. But they tried to take down the curse, and they, according to their own words, failed to take down the curse. They somehow still give God all the accolades for protecting them, except kind of meant the ultimate not protected. The ultimate definition of unprotected, your singular God failed, couldn't cut it, and that's why they're scared. That's really why they're scared. They only have one guy. There's no backup for them. I guess, like, you know, the angels, but like they only have one big guy and everyone else is a minor player. Like, you're playing with a queen, well, I guess a king who only has like a singular move, right? Because these people refuse to be led by queens. And everyone else is a pawn. Like, that's bad strategy, dude. At least for most magic practitioners, whatever our background and our form and flavor of magical practice, we usually have a multitude. You know, we usually have a multitude to call on. Can you see, like, the bit of blue? My aquarium is having its sunset mode begin. My ad-free fireplace is not ad-free, and I'm going to interrupt this to say one of the ads was, Tim Hortons genocide donuts. So Tim Hortons is Canada's beloved donut shop, their national symbol. And Orange Shirt Day in Canada is when we remember Indigenous residential school survivors. And Tim Hortons makes an orange donut for Residential School Survivor Day. Like, wrong vibe, dude. Wrong fucking vibes. Anyway, so we'll see how ad-free we get to go. But we're going to watch also this mode go. I do wonder if I can turn off this light or if I need it. We'll see. Anyway. The right-wing Christians are upset with the feministy magazine Jezebel for publishing an article written by someone anonymous, and they want that person outed. This person thought it would be a fun article to hire witches on Etsy to do some hexes or curses, and they thought it would just be like funny, annoying stuff, like somehow magically your jackets are all one size too small was when they said, or zits on your face. That's doable. I don't know about the jackets, but I mean, long term you can make that happen through other means. Zits are totally doable, but yeah, when we're all talking about hex the patriarchy, hex white supremacy, like, we're not talking zits. We're gonna amp that shit up. I would imagine. I mean, I remember when my friends and I cursed Jordan Peterson. He ended up in rehab after that, and that was good times. I learned from it what I would do to keep it going, and anyway, good times. But yes, like I said, it's one way to fight back. And I mean, on the flip side, given the power these fearful people have, we should be concerned. You know, there's been pushes before for Etsy to not allow witchcraft, tarot readings, stuff like that. And that, you know, is something that's going to be a concern. And people are going to need to find other platforms, non-American platforms. I don't know. I worry about that with my own job. Like the app I work for, its headquarters are in the U.S. And I'm like, why not go move to Ireland like all the other app and tech companies? And just in case America decides that psychics and witches aren't allowed. Like, I think that's something we should be calling protections on at this time while we're busy hexing white supremacy. And if you don't want to be hexed for your white supremacy, don't be a white supremacist. Like, I don't know, just try not being a racist, and then maybe left-leaning witches won't want to hex you. That's a possibility. That's something you know, that you can check out. To be clear, I am not the one who hexed Charlie Kirk or cursed him. It wasn't me. I'm not working on Etsy. My magical workings are not available on the internet. You have to know me and contact me all on your own sum. And yeah. And you know, I do my own workings against white supremacy. Collective curses are probably one of the most empowering curses you can do. Curses against the system, they do take a lot of work. You can join in with all the other people doing it. It's a popular concept, right? And like, you're often, if you're hexing white supremacy, a lot of the times you're targeting people who are going to be Christians, especially evangelicals. And you know, they're going to be evangelicals, they're going to be Zionists, the right, the fascists are a large portion of them are Christians. And so, you know, they're going to be praying in their churches, but we already have like established that they only have one God. They've got their angels and their priests apparently can't undo the curses and hexes set out there by some good, strong witches. And that's really empowering to know. As somebody who is a participant in the magical community and is out there working on the spirit realm, it's good to know that our people have got it going on. They're strong, and they are ready and prepared for this ongoing fight against white supremacy and fascism and colonialism and capitalism and the patriarchy. And a lot of them are standing up and doing more than the spirit level work. Like I said, when I cursed a big celebrity, one I'll talk about because it's he's some kind of recovery, and he's certainly got a voice right now. And we did a freezer spell with a cow's tongue, and due to other circumstances and moving, it was no longer going to be able to remain frozen, and so it got disposed of. And he's back, and so perhaps it should be done again. But a good one you'll need to maintain unless it's strong enough to be really complete, and you don't have to maintain it long term. But when you're doing good in the spirit world, more spirits are going to join in with you and uphold that and take less out of you, right? But also when you're doing hexes and curses, especially against these systems that are often backed up by congregations praying to uphold them, just so you know what you're setting your work against, so you set your work in a good way. That was a genocide donut ad. Can you believe it? Yeah. Okay. Yes, they donate to indigenous charities. Are they indigenous run? I don't know, but are they profiting up? Yes, anytime you host a sale, your whole business will profit. It's how it works. Whenever, times are tough at work, I lower my prices and call it a sale, because then people want it at that price. I don't say times are tough. Although I am contemplating that I will possibly need to consider, especially with the number of clients that are American in the state that it's in, that I might need to consider lower prices, or keeping even what my normal price is still relatively low. But the economy's bad. It's not going to get better. It's going to get worse. People are going to have less money, although more of them will spend it calling me. Being affordable is important, because people need this work to help them through these times, and they need some good hexes and curses going on against all these horrific systems, and the people who are upholding them, bringing people into them, the people who are the movers and the shakers of these oppressive systems are absolutely going to be the target of hexes and curses. And it's a strong witch that sets one as strong as Megan is claiming. But my hat off, flowers to the witches who are fighting oppression for us in successful ways. Am I aware that there's backlash for this right-wing white supremacist podcaster ending? Yeah, I am. But if you've been watching me for a while, or if you check out videos, you'll know I am a Star Wars fan. I am an Andor fan, and I agree with Luthen. Luke Skywalker never comes on the scene if someone like Luthen isn't lighting fires. And there will be backlash. There's possibly going to be backlash for witches making their living off of Etsy because of this. You might need to look elsewhere. Other similar platforms, start planning for it, start preparing for it. As far as I'm aware, Etsy is, witches on Etsy have always been on the risk and edge of you're about to not be able to make your money here. So hopefully they've been planning and preparing for it and have alternatives. But I know it will be those with the least amount of alternatives that that will suffer the most for it. It's frustrating. And yet, that doesn't mean it shouldn't happen. We need that to happen. And of course, they're going to get mad about it. But that's okay because apparently their priests cannot defeat us. So there you go. That settles that. I don't know if I want to move into talking about this before I'm done talking about everything else. So this past week I was involved in an action for Palestine. One where my Gemini Sun Libra rising skills to be able to stand with a mic in my hand and talk nonstop with a partner in crime. There was no crimes committed, and my ability to talk nonstop was utilized in a protest. The protest where I spoke for like 5.5 hours, not alone, but it was a lot. Was actually a decoy, which was brilliant. And then because all the Zionists kept coming and harassing us, the decoy protest, and they didn't know that the actual action was inside, and it was a sit-in to demand divestment of the university that these students attend, and I'm not being clear about where because identity harassment, blah blah blah. So, but it was a successful. It was a very successful decoy. The actual real protest sit-in that didn't fully get the university is not divested, but they're going to have regular meetings to talk about it. Which is better than nothing. It's something. And they got to do this and carry forward their demands in a setting where the support for them was the only thing that was visible. And the racist settler opposition never showed up because the racist settler opposition thought me and a couple other people in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, a few younger folks, but mostly the older crowd, outside was the real protest. We collected, petitions that the students won collected. We collected so many names for their petitions. Let people know about the group and how they can participate, and and said a lot of educational stuff, and all of that. But the pressure and the demands went forward successfully, and that was pretty awesome. I felt pretty good about it. My throat was so dry by the end. That was so much talking. Even for me, that was so much talking. And eventually I was like, I don't know what to say anymore, because near the end, we didn't really have much of a crowd anymore. We did for the first few hours have a pretty good crowd, and it is really easy to talk to a crowd, right? It is really difficult to do protest energy talking without a crowd. It's tricky, and the end was tricky. In the end, I read a Substack from Muhammad Abdu's End Time Substack. It was Communique number 3, and some opposition walks by as we get to like the very beginning of talking about the glory of the paragliders in October 2 years ago, and the general who had this great vision and planned for so long, and so check out that communique, and that was absolutely the most radical thing that was said all day. And in like this calm where we're just reading a Substack. We've been at this for 4.5, 5 hours. We're just reading a Substack now. And their shock that we were so bold was good. And I didn't plan it. I was like, what are we gonna do next? Let's do this. And yeah, it went beautifully. I'm just turning that off so we actually can enjoy this as we get to it. We are getting to it's really toning down, and the moonlight's coming up. There's still some white lights on here, but they're turning down. I wonder if I can turn out my dining room light without this being too dark. We'll bring lights back up later, perhaps, but yeah, this is the nighttime setting, and the moonbeam. This is my new snail tank. We'll try the dining room light back on. So this is the snail tank, and it has a crushed coral and calcium sand substrate. I went with my first aquascape, and 2 of the mystery snails are in here, and that would be Chewy and Mace Windu. Chewy is a female. Mace is underneath the sleeve here, tucked back by the big seashell. Everything kind of has a fine dusting of that calcium sand. Oh, Chewy dropped in. Chewy dropped in to say hello. And I'm excited to watch my snails in the moonlight. There's some babies in here and some just down here. This evening I was like, maybe that flat rock back there, I can try using that as a snail plate. Also, I'll look into just getting a snail plate. There was the Chewy's big drop from leaf to leaf. This Anubis, I'm not sure if I'm saying it right. I think I am not, but even though I know it's spelled different, in my head it's Anubis. The giant leaves on it are just great for snails and their parasailing habits. Sometimes Chewy hangs off the pothos leaves that hang into the water line down here. Vallisneris, a spirally kind, it's supposed to be tall and skinny, should grow up here nice and tall. It looked in pretty rough shape when I got it. Well, not when I got it. After I put it in the tank the next morning, it looked kind of rough. And I trimmed some edges off, and it will grow up tall. But in the meantime, I put some of my house plants in behind, which looks pretty cool in the daytime, I think. Yeah. Some of the plants on my on the driftwood look a little fried. Now, when I first filled it up, there was bubbles, and I freaked out. And you know, I was told don't freak out, but Reddit said I should freak out. And so I drained it, and my cousin and I resealed it. And I did keep stuff in a bucket, but still they look kind of fried. I'm hoping they come back. They all have a dusting. Everything has a dusting on it, which I'm trying to very gently remove, but the plants are, you know, we're all at a delicate starting out kind of phase right now, right? So we'll see. So I'm feeling pretty happy and relaxed about this tank. I'm going to enjoy it. I did not get to enjoy my snails in the moonlight last night because all they did was mate hanging off a wall, and that it's really only fascinating in the beginning. Them moving around, being, you know, the derpy little mystery snail selves. I'm looking to watch that in the artificial moonlight. Connect with community to do your witchcraft work. Find alternative means to Etsy, and keep hexing and cursing white supremacy, because we need all the witches we can get. We need all the witches we can get. Oh, I was going to do this too. So I pulled out the Haters Exposed Oracle, and this I'm having such a brain fart since I sneezed. And a Lenormand. Okay. Competition, always trying to one-up you. And I think this is a good reminder as you know, you're working on hexing and cursing, white supremacy, the patriarchy, all the rest of it. They are going to keep trying to one-up you. Do your protections. You know, they dismiss us and then fail to break our hexes and curses. let us be more wise than them. Take their congregational prayers and hoopla and all the rest of it, trying to bring our stuff down seriously. Put up your protections. Look after yourself. Clover, tree, heart. Cover and protect yourself. Form deep roots in community. This is what you need to continue on your work and protect yourself. So you cover and you protect yourself. And deep roots in your community, because you're not going to be able to rely on Etsy forever. That's going to be various different online communities, ones that are less tied to the billionaires and their access, and community, the heart. You become the heart of your activist circles, of your community. Your community is going to be hurt by the system over and over again. And there are ways churches step up, but they are a part of the capitalist colonial system. You can't deny that. And you cannot use the master's tools. And so become the heart of community for you, so for your community, and that will be part of your deep roots and protection as well. But they're going to need your services of various types the more we move in towards fascism, from the healer witches to the psychic witches to the cursing witches and the spellcraft witches and witches who can help you with court cases and all the rest of it. Community is going to need you. All right. We don't need to convert people the way they do competitively. We just need to remind community there are other options out there to help you through this. Ones that are not connected to these systemic power bases. All right, talk to you all later.